Hey, we're back in the tea room. I'm here joined by Oshri, my co-host. We got a special guest today. Hi. Avi Lieberman joins us.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Comedian Avi Lieberman from LA via now Florida, Hollywood, Florida.
That's the rule if you're a Jew.
If you're coming from California,
The other Hollywood.
you gotta go to Hollywood.
I had to go from Hollywood to Hollywood to get some work. Yeah,
there you go. And now you're in New York, and we got you in the tea room.
Yeah. It's
Now,
very exciting.
Look at that.
There's nothing more exciting than Great Nick on a Sunday morning. I can't think of anything more. When Ty told me this, I said, "There's nowhere I'd rather be than Great Nick." Yeah,
in a non-gebrach tea room.
Yeah, it's perfect.
With seltzer.
Free Passover. It's warming me up. Yeah, free Passover tea rooms.
That's right.
Yeah.
Avi Lieberman. Yeah, I guess don't need to point out he's a Jewish comedian. He's a comedian who happens to be Jewish.
Right.
So, and what I feel like we're similar in that we both play the Jewish circuit, but we didn't kind of grow up like you started in clubs and regular circuit, and then sort of discovered the niche.
Yeah, I've actually
that's
told,
like me.
I've told some of the comics that have started later, like who are doing more of the Jewish stuff. I go, you've got to at least have 10 minutes of secular stuff. Like you're not going to be able to go. I told one friend of mine this, will remain nameless. I just said, what happens if you're in Vegas and I connect you, let's say, with a Butch Bradley, right? He's a great guy. He's done like the tour I do in Israel.
Sure.
That later. Like he has a residence at the Stratosphere. I go, what if I call and say, oh, hey, friend of mine's in town. He's going to go because he's a really nice guy. Do you want to do 10 minutes? What are you going to do? Talk about chilling? Like, you can't do that. You have to have something that second. But it's interesting with me. I used to shy away from anything Jewish because I'm like, oh, my name's Avi Lieberman. It's so Jewish. I don't want to focus on that. Mm-hmm. And then I realized, like, this is stupid. Even
the world changed a little bit. It sort of became very, I think where politics became more identity oriented, so did comedy.
Yeah, I think it's people, and there was always like a thing, oh, if you're a black comic, you're going to talk about being black, or Latinos are going to talk about being Latino.
Right.
The Jews would do it a little bit, but I think because in entertainment, because Hollywood was founded by Jews who were trying to show how Protestant they could be.
Well, it was always, what was the expression? Write Jewish, act British.
Yeah. It used to be like if your last name is Schwartz, okay, this guy must know what he's doing. But if Schwartz says, I want to offer Passover, what kind of Looney Tune is this? I remember calling my dad when I used to act more. When I moved to LA to act originally, but stand-up was something I knew I wanted to do. Okay. I got there and started immediately.
You started as a child actor, didn't you?
No. I never acted as a kid. But I would watch sitcoms as a kid. And I remember telling my dad, like, I can do that. I would watch, like, Silver Spoons and Different Strokes. And I go, I know I can do that. And but it never popped up. I mean, I grew up in Texas.
Okay.
So then I moved to LA and started auditioning, fairly quickly, relatively speaking.
But you were young, right? Like you were in your early 20s when you did it. Okay.
Yeah. The biggest part I ever got was like on this show called Dave's World.
I saw it.
It was like the third audition I ever did.
You posted it, right? Recently?
Yeah. People began to post actually. I'm like, well, I think I have this somewhere. It's somewhere.
It was so cute.
And people were like, oh, that was fun. You were good at that. I always thought I could compete on that level, but it just didn't. Yeah, it's various reasons. You don't know anything when you're in your 20s. I remember thinking back to this day, the agency that I was with at the time, they had this woman who was so nice. She would run lines with you and practice with you. And I had it down. And I went in and I was like ready to go. And I was just more prepared. And then she left. And then every audition from there, at that point, I'm like trying to hunt down people to do this with. I'm like, I guess I'll just do it myself. And you realize, had I done that same level of preparation, who knows? But that's what you realize. It's kind of with everything in life. The more you prepare and the more you get ready.
Well, a good manager can make all the difference.
Yeah, I was an agent. That was with an agent. I didn't really have a manager. My agent at the time hated managers, which is ironic. He then became one.
People actually ask me a lot. They the lay people. They say, "What is the difference between an agent?"
The technical difference?
10%.
Yeah. Well, no. Yes and no. It used to be in the old days. I think things have changed. I don't know. Agents were regulated by the state in California. They can only take 10%. That's it. Managers is kind of a gray area.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They can take they would usually take 20 to 25 sometimes. Oh, wow. Managers also could get involved. Let's say they get you the show. Well, they can be producers on it. Agents could not. So a lot of agents would.
That's what people don't understand.
It's like managers can make more money. So a lot of agents were like, well, why should I struggle to be this independent agent when I could be a manager and make way more money? And it's also agents would get the breakdown. Managers technically were not supposed to submit you for auditions.
Oh, is that right?
Back in the days, but they all did anyway. It was kind of an understood rule that was broken all the time.
I feel like
but I know things have changed. So
isn't it more a manager is somebody who invests more in you, and that's why they're taking a larger.
And you have these managers that really
theory.
have
They
great
groom,
calls.
they
And they
you.
kind of understand. Like Barry Katz, who I do an impression of now.
Oh, that's right. You got to check out Avi Lieberman.
That's what. Yeah, I do my Barry Katz. I was on the phone with
Barry Katz. Tell them Barry Katz is like one of the biggest comedy managers of all time.
Yeah, if you go if you drop by the where I had a spot last night, at the comic strip. Half the old photos of like these huge star comics that have become big deals. It's like Barry Katz management. Like, this is a guy who's, credentials are not questions. It's like silly. He knows what he's doing. Right?
And you're doing impressions of him. Because I think recent...
Barry kind of talks like this. So like everyone has like a Barry Katz impression. So I was on the phone with Barry about something completely different. And he calls me and I go, Barry, I know everybody does impression you. We all know. And he has a great sense of humor about it.
Okay.
I go, Barry, has anyone done you giving just horrible advice? Like just terrible, like ruining people's careers? And he like busts out laughing and like almost insisted that I do it.
That's great.
Oh, yeah. No, he was like, he goes, just make sure you have like jokes, as many jokes as you can. So I sort of did it quickly because, Instagram, nobody has any patience. So I was like, I'll just get into one. Like the first piece of advice I gave was, like I was doing him going, I had a client and he was offered this $4 million holding deal. And I said, listen, if you take this, they're going to control you and you don't want that. And to this day, that's the thing I'm most proud of. He turned it down and now he sells insurance, but it was a life lesson that he understood. Just like these awful
that's great.
pieces of advice.
I love that.
I have one coming up where I'm telling people, you have to steal material from comics that know what they're doing. Make sure it'll really help you. Just like these terrible pieces of advice. And I'm playing it off of videos that he's already made.
Okay.
So that's kind of the silliness of it. And I got the blonde wig and the whole thing. And
he's blonde?
Yeah,
okay.
It's so over the top and stupid. Like no one would take this seriously. And Barry would not be insulted by it. But I checked with him first.
I didn't know that you checked with him. I was like, wow, that's like chutzpah to be doing these videos. No,
I checked with him. And I also I do an Anthony Jeselnik impression. I haven't put it up yet. I practiced in the club. But I checked with Anthony. I go, Anthony, has anyone done you yet? He goes, no, I heard there's some young guys who are trying. He goes, you should definitely do it, but I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. I go, no problem. So,
that's great.
So I'm not going to send it for it, but he said you should do it.
So he has a sense of humor.
Yeah,
about
Anthony
himself.
knows it's a bit of a character, like that darker. That's not how he's such a nice guy.
And but he talks really slow.
Yeah, that's
so you
got
to slow down the pace.
Comedically, I always envied the guys that have that kind of confidence, like him and Harlan Williams and these guys that have just this pace because they have a lot of time to think about things.
Yeah,
and they're also good, if let's say you're talking to the crowd or something, which, these guys have great jokes. They don't have to.
Right.
But if they're talking to the audience, and Harlan can do that sometimes, Anthony refuses to do it, which I have a big admiration for.
He doesn't do any
none. He's
crowd.
like,
really?
He refuses.
Do you know Anthony Jeselnik? Have you watched him at all?
Why is
he's great.
Why is he adamant?
Because this whole trend. I wrote an article about this recently.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so
a lot of comics have strong feelings about crowd work.
Yeah,
it's better to post that, right? Because then you don't lose your material.
Right.
For when
so there are two reasons. One, it's I'm not burning my act. People used to, and I would defend Matt Rife all the time. They're like, oh, he only does crowd. I go, no, he doesn't. He has an act. But if he's on a world tour, he's not gonna burn his act and you come and see him and go, oh, I've seen this joke.
Exactly. No,
it's very hard. I get it. Writing jokes is hard. It sucks. It's very tedious and long.
And then you put it out there and then people come to see you and they say, oh, I've already seen that.
As someone who goes to comedy shows, I like the crowd work. I find it so funny.
Right. So why? Right. So any comic with a few years of experience can kind of pull that off.
Yeah.
And it's but I mean, I came up when I was coming up. It was always out of material. When we see somebody doing crowd work, and we'd taunt each other from the stage. Let's say somebody was on it, and you look at your buddies in the back of the room and go, "So what else is going on?" Like,
what else is going on?
Because that was a way of saying I'm out. I'm out of what I prepared.
Or
tonight.
It's a great tool when you kind of forget where you wanted to go next. And then you talk to people, and then in your head, you're like, oh, yeah, that was my next bit.
To me, it was always used to sort of like prompt the next joke or like prompt what I've got coming up. And I would get kind of impatient if I'm talking to somebody and I'm like, I need to get to this. Like, let's just move on.
Yeah.
You can find a joke while talking to them. Like, that's fine. And again,
but you don't always get lucky.
Yeah, I'm not against engaging a crowd.
I think it proves that someone is actually funny if they can say something funny, like spontaneously. So
well,
that's why it impresses me.
Well, in a way, yes and no, because that's like, oh, Mike is so funny at the water cooler. You should do stand up. Yeah, no, he shouldn't unless
it doesn't always translate
he wants
that
to write
way.
jokes. Like if he wanted to, he would have gone to a club and done it. But that's again, like when I was kind of like, for example, when I play Vegas, so I have a joke where I'd ask who's ahead, and invariably always a few people applaud, and how much are you up? And if they say this, I have a joke pre-prepared for that, and if they say this, I have a joke pre-prepared for that.
Right, so it's
that
not so
to me
spontaneous.
was quote unquote, is that crowd work? Not really, but is it really? But I'm proud of myself that I've written jokes for their response, which you wouldn't be able to tell.
No,
that
you
that's
wouldn't know
just
that.
off the top of my
It's
head.
like being a magician. It's like your sleight of hand.
Preparation. But if they throw me something that's a curveball, you can work with it, or if it's you realize this is going nowhere, just move on. You have the microphone, you're in charge.
Right. So basically, back to I wanted to get to you grew up, in comedy in the LA comedy scene, like you're talking about. Anthony Jeselnik, Barry Katz. You've worked with these people.
Barry was never officially my manager. We were just always friendly.
Or,
It got along really well. Yeah.
But like coming up in the New York comedy scene, it's just a totally different animal. So I mean, what was it like? I mean, how did you develop your act? Like, where did you go? Because there aren't as many clubs.
I'd say because you can't. It's very hard to get on. There are just fewer clubs.
Right.
And if you have the big three.
And you have to drive everywhere.
Yeah, but it's not far. I lived close to those things, but you have like the Improv Comedy Store and Laugh Factory. You could walk from the Laugh Factory to the Comedy Store. Like, it's not far.
Oh, okay.
And the other ones it's a 5-minute drive to the Improv.
Right, that I know.
Those are the big three. And then you have the Comedy Magic Club at Hermosa Beach, which is also a great room, and the Ice House in Pasadena, which are great rooms. Those were kind of the big five. And then you have Flappers came along a little bit later in the Valley. But most of the time in LA, you're going up in like booked shows that friends are doing at a coffee house, or that's the majority of or these specialty
that's how you
shows.
develop.
You get on where you can, and if I'm a club owner or I'm the manager and doing the lineup, who should I put on? The guy's been at Tonight Show 3 times, the new kid. Who would you put on? Like, I get it. So it's very, very difficult. The Improv is where I grew up comedically. And the Laugh Factory sparingly.
So you had a home club.
Yeah, it's my grooming spot was sort of like Sunday 8-10. That was Avi's spot. And Ross Mark, Bud Friedman's, God rest his soul. Bud Friedman's stepson, Ross was kind of grooming me. He was very nice to me and said that's how he kind of brought me along. But the first week on the road I ever did was Vegas. It's like weird. It's
so
like
you talk about Vegas, like New York comedians. It's it's not like a given. We've done Vegas. It's funny when you're in LA. It's like, oh, I was in Vegas. Because what is it, like a 3-4 hour drive?
Most of us drive. Okay. Most of us drive because you're there for a week. So to me, it was kind of fun. I knew I was just goofing around, but like I'd come out. The road is great. What do you mean? They're like, shut up, Lieberman. Yeah, it's like then I began to do Indiana and Boise, Idaho. I'm like, okay, I realize this. But you get better on the road. You do those harder gigs, and that's where you sort of learn.
Well, it's funny you say that because I've heard comics in New York talk about like I don't want to get stuck playing too much in Vegas because then I'll get comfortable. I'll get really hacky. Those crowds are easier than New York City. Do you agree with that?
Well, my friend Steve, who was like a comedy purist, he's like Vegas is a hack-free zone. That
is it?
That's what he would sort of joke. You don't have to be a hack. But it's okay to sort of do Vegas material. I mean, you have great comics that live in Vegas. Where like you have Bob Zaney lives there, and a lot of guys. Brian Regan lives in Vegas. I mean, he doesn't play there that often, but he's on the road playing huge theaters.
I worked with his brother Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis is great.
They look exactly alike.
I took both of them to Israel.
So great.
Dennis is great. He's more like cerebral. And Brian is they're both phenomenal. Dennis is low energy and Brian is more higher energy. Okay. But they're both great.
Two brothers like
it's
that.
It's interesting. They're family. I think it's they have a lot of siblings. I think it's like they're 2 doctors, 2 lawyers, 2 comics.
Stop it.
Yeah.
6 brothers.
Yeah, something like that.
Like 3 types of genetics are passed.
Yeah, it's like brothers and sisters.
That's adorable,
I think it's like they're
actually.
all success. Yeah, it's interesting. It
that's
goes
so
in pairs
cute.
or something. I think I remember Dennis telling me that. But, you have, Steve Kravitz moved there. Steve Pearl lives in Vegas. These are great. Butch Bradley lives there. Okay. These are all great comics. And it doesn't mean you have to do Vegas-y stuff.
Right.
But, I mean, when I play there, I'm doing a few things about gambling. And then you can ease into your act. But
and it's like I would think it's similar crowds to New York City. It's tourists, it's people checking it out.
It's great. I mean, they're great audiences. And obviously, I played the Improv at Harrah's for like 20 years. I was in Vegas. No kidding.
So you've really done a lot of Vegas. And have you done cruises?
I did cruises a couple times. Okay. That's a chapter in my new book.
Let's show everyone.
Stranger gigs. The newer version is thinner. I don't know why this was like the double print. They screwed this up.
You're so prolific.
It will be fixed.
Unless it's the print giant.
The print here, it looks like that. They screwed it up. It's like double print. Older people love it. But I moved to Florida, so they seem to enjoy it. But
I would appreciate that.
Yeah. So no, I
Anyone
talk
over
about
40.
cruise ships in the book. I've only done them a couple times.
Okay.
And I did.
It's tough, right? Because you have to have two 45-minute sets. One, no?
It depends on the line.
Okay.
I mean, I just bumped into Christian Finnegan last night. He said he'd only done cruise ships once, and he said
love
he was
him.
like brutal. Like
He's
to
a
do
New
that.
York comic.
Yeah. We were both up at the comic shop. last night.
Okay.
And some yes, some no. Everybody wants the cruise ships with the clubs on, with the comedy clubs, because there it's just you go on. It's 3 comics like a regular show every night, and that's it. You can do your act, and that's it.
Okay.
And it's open feature close, just like kind of on the road. Those are the ones everybody wants.
But you can't book just one. That's the problem. You have to do like a 3-month contract.
Yeah, I talked to a friend Bruce Smirnoff, who's a great comic. He's kind of like retired now, but he worked for Don Casino, and he would say they're more into the guys that like, here's 30 weeks.
Right.
That's the golden handcuffs. You can make a lot of money and make a good living.
Okay.
But you are kind of cut off from society. The first one I ever did was Royal Caribbean.
Not for me.
Yeah.
Not for me.
I'd rather do them every now and then.
I'm too much of a Jap for that. Oshri, imagine me living at sea for 30 weeks.
Yeah,
you get so sick of the food because it's very repetitive, right?
The food, but and it's not the best accommodations. You're a work.
You can't. Depends on like what you're doing. And
like,
where
unless
you
you were Sarge, rest his soul.
Yeah,
oh my gosh. Like, he was the king of the cruises, and they put him, I think, in luxury.
He was so good. I mean, it depends on where you
rare.
get. Some guys make more money than they can ask if they're really good. And, and then you can ask, no, I'm not doing this. You can turn it down unless you want a room that's decent and things like that. But you have to, sort of prove yourself, and it has to be someone that they want.
I'd be happy proving myself for 1 month at sea, not 3 months.
Yeah,
I was not happening.
Naively, I'm like, I would just like to do maybe once every 2-3 months. They're like, it doesn't kind of work. I mean, you can fill in for somebody if they're sick, those kinds of things. But in general, like the first cruise I did, I was kind of warned. Like, listen, it's the cruise, it's the cruise ship director, it's like the entertainment directors. Yeah, it's up to them, like what you're doing. So you show up, and they're unless it's one of the clubs where your schedule for the week, right? It's kind of on them. And it's Bruce told me, he goes, you have to not kill time, you have to assassinate it. Like, that's how.
Ooh, I like that.
To do. Like, I was like, in the first cruise, I go, what's he talking about? You're porting in these great places, and I'm going to be busy. And I brought one book, and I was like, that was a mistake. I was done with this. I'm just like, there really is. I was like, what about going to the gym? He goes, okay, that's an hour and a half. Now what? Now what do you do with your day off?
Oh, wow.
And there really is, when it's just you and there are no other comics to hang out with. It is just brutal in terms of killing time.
Okay.
The second time I did Royal Caribbean first, and then I did Princess next. And I kind of learned my lesson, like, okay, I'm scheduling my day, bringing these movies to watch, these books to read, this scheduling almost like so you won't go nuts in terms of like what to do. Well, yeah. But I was working with 2 other comics. That made it a lot easier. They were really nice guys. Okay. And that made it more fun because we'd port someplace and they'd know where to go, what to do.
But yeah, you're really good with scheduling. I mean, you travel. I mean, even now, like you got to New York a couple of days ago. I got you on the podcast. I found out you were going to be here for over Shabbat. Yeah. And so I happened to have heard.
Yes, Talia saved me for my Shabbat dinner.
She was going to have Shabbat alone.
Oh. Yeah, all my plans, like not 1, not 2, like 3 people that I can only just call on them. Hey, we'll figure it out. Candace was stuck in Israel trying to get back here, my friend, and she's finally coming back like tomorrow with this whole Iran craziness. Another friend was out of town. Another friend was going to fly out, and then he didn't. And it was just like last minute-y things.
This guy had this guy had randomly messaged me. This guy was like a fan of mine, and he always like tells me what he's up to, which is really sweet.
Yeah, that's cute.
And but he said, because I headlined over at Rodney's last night. We were 20 blocks away from each other. You were at the Strip. Right. And he messaged me to tell me that he had COVID and he wouldn't be able to come to my show. And now he can't go to this Friday night dinner he was supposed to go to on the Upper West Side. That was for like singles. And then Avi tells me he's in town. I'm like, oh, well, this guy just pulled out of this dinner. Maybe I could get Avi a spot at this show. Because Avi had just mentioned he didn't know what he was doing for Friday night. Yeah, I got to figure out what I'm
doing Friday night. Like, and I got to figure this out. And
so this guy, Aaron, he sends me all the information. And you said you'd actually gotten another offer, but this one was a better one.
Yeah. It was funny. No, because I went to synagogue that morning. I go to Minyan in the morning, and I check with the rabbi. And I told him, I said, hey, listen, here's my situation. I'm just in from out of town. And like every one of my contacts where normally would not be a big deal, just they're all gone. And he goes, don't sweat it. We're having 2 dinners at the synagogue. here, like, one is for the Sephardi dinner, which I think is sold out, but there's another one, this cantorial thing for the
Cantorial
Ashkenazi. Like, we'll do that. I'll send you the info. I'm like, I've got to take care of it.
I think
like,
the cantorial would
so
be
he
for the
sends me an
Sephardic.
email and sees this woman. No problem, Avi. Just send $100 into that. I'm just like, yeah, no, $100. Like, I don't want to spend $100. And
Yeah.
then Talia's thing was like,
The guy, he said if he's interested, they can still buy him food, just Venmo 60. But
I was like, I thought it was a
It's a
person.
deal for Shabbat meal.
Yeah, no, but you know
okay,
what?
so you
It's
think
very nice. This woman, she's a real sweetheart. She
Yeah,
realized.
so tell me how it was.
No, it was really nice. And not
Okay.
only that, I knew the person hosting.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Such a small world.
Yeah. So this girl, Shelly, who was hosting it, she's Australian, which was great.
Okay.
And I didn't realize this is like a group that this girl Shira created. And she was married. She's married and divorced. And not even for dating reasons. She's like, I realized.
So it was a
there's like
singles group, like.
Yeah, she goes, it's not even for dating necessarily. Like, if you meet somebody, great, God bless. But she goes, I realize there's sort of this epidemic of loneliness, like of people who are married or divorced or whatever, not married or and divorced. Like,
Wait,
they're
married
just,
and lonely?
Sorry.
Married people go to
not married, sorry. Freudian slip. The two married ladies that I have here. No, she goes, people who were married or divorced or just people who are single. She's like, forget about even dating. Like, there's just everyone since COVID. She's like, no one hosts anymore. So a lot of people aren't
Really?
hosting. That's what she said.
Oh, okay.
And on her own, she started this like WhatsApp group. She has over 600 people in it.
Wow.
And they arrange these dinners.
And it's
she's
singles,
like,
all divorced.
Yeah, she's like,
or
I don't want
single.
somebody to spend hundreds of dollars on food is $1 billion. Like, just kick
Right.
in whatever.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Oh, that's
And-
why they're
And it's
charged.
always in
Okay.
a different place, or it's always
Yeah, whoever wants to host. And this woman, she's super nice. Like, she hosted. And it was just like a really
So
nice
how many
group of
people were there?
12, I think.
And it was someone's apartment?
Yeah, she has this phenomenal apartment.
Really?
It's like, yeah, we walked
On the
in.
Upper West.
Upper West, yeah.
What street was it? Like.
Are you tracking her down?
No,
Tanya?
just like how
on
Upper West?
86, I think.
Oh, perfect. Oh, that's
Yeah, it was easy. So,
walk
yeah.
across town.
It was simple.
And
No,
it was
very nice.
it was like a cool like group.
Yeah, they
or-
were very friendly. It just and it was exactly what you said. It's just, some people were single, some were divorced, and they just like, because I remember pre-COVID, it was you'd have to turn down invites. Like, everybody was hosting, everybody was.
Oh,
doing
is
it.
that
It was, like,
right?
simple.
Okay.
And, you just had to know a few people, and like since then, it's just been.
Did you meet anyone? Any prospects last
Nah,
night?
friendly, but no, nobody was really. Saturday morning, I met a couple girls, like, and-
Saturday morning.
in
Oh, the
synagogue.
next day. Oh, where did you go to synagogue? Oh, yes, Altanoy.
Yeah,
I knew it.
that's my buddy goes there, so he gets.
That's like the cool new
That's the big
hangout
hang,
place.
on the
Yeah.
Upper East. But you have to.
Did you
I
see?
go there actually.
Was
go to synagogue.
Bachaz in there? Yoni? He's my buddy.
I forget, probably.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Okay, I don't
But, yeah, they were very nice there.
So you met people at the Kiddush? Is that it?
Yeah, that's where everybody goes. Like, when Shabbat ends early, which it doesn't anymore. Now that the
I
clock's changed,
know.
it's actually-
Wait, is it still at the
everybody's
Pierre?
house there.
Is it at the Pierre Hotel still, or they have
No, they have their permanent spot now. It's on 70th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they have their own spot now, and it's like a big thing, and that's like the big
So
thing.
that's like
hangout.
wow.
How's dating in Hollywood?
Sucks. That's why I left. Florida?
I don't know. Which either one.
But that's why I left.
He left. Yeah,
I
he left
California. I
LA.
just wasn't dating
And
as
it's
much.
worse
Right.
in Florida.
How is-
It's
yeah,
worse in
I
LA than Florida.
I haven't been in Florida, honestly.
He
that
just
much.
moved.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I got there, and 2 days later, I flew to Israel, so it wasn't really that. I was
Right.
there for a month and a half, so it wasn't really like I've been in the scene. I've had a few dates since I've been there, but nothing.
So we've talked a lot about just like growing up, in the comedy world. But then you, I guess, because we're talking about identity comedy, identity politics, whatever. So you developed this whole Jewish act, I did.
Circling
But-
back to that, I said I used to shy away from it.
Yeah.
And then the Montreal Comedy Festival, which was like the thing to do. Now I think they're trying to bring it back, but it like went bankrupt.
It's
or whatever.
online now, I think.
Yeah, but that was like the thing to try to get into. There was Aspen, which was like a step below the Montreal Comedy Festival.
I
to
thought
help
it
your
was
career.
Skull. Laughing Skull was the.
Oh, that I don't know.
anyway,
but it's,
yeah.
it was that, and Montreal was the big thing to get into. It used to be when I was just kind of starting. The running gag, if you could speak English, you'd go to if you got into the Montreal Comedy Festival, you'd leave with like a deal.
Right.
Out. And 99 times out of 100 wouldn't go anywhere, but at least you'd get some money out of this. So I finally get it, and my agent calls and goes, they want to see you for the bar mitzvah show. He goes, it'll be a way for you to get in, and then you'll do other shows while you're there. He goes, and my own agent, who's Jewish, calls and goes, do all your Jewish stuff. And I'm like, I didn't really have
You're like, I don't have Jewish stuff.
that much Jewish stuff. And I realized, you know what? If my own agent sees me this way, and they're going to see me this way anyway, I might as well embrace it. Because honestly, it is who I am. Like, I was born in Israel. I'm more traditional. And, and then I began to embrace it. And
So
then,
wait, born in Israel, grew up in Texas. And then early 20s started in LA.
School in Binghamton. And
Now
moved
you
straight
live in Florida. You
Right.
come to New York a lot, and Israel,
Yeah.
but you don't have ADD. I'm confused.
Well,
I'm kidding.
yeah.
That's a lot of stuff. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, and once I began to embrace the Jewish stuff, the secular stuff got better. Like everything got better. You can't comedically run who you are.
Right.
And once you embrace that, things will begin to roll.
Well, yeah, you really this tour took off that you do, Comedy for Koby. How many years have you been doing? How many years is that?
18, but
oh my God, really?
Well, it's over 20 because I did it with Crossroads before that.
Wow.
And I did it 2 years before that. It's just like a pick-me-up for people who are there.
So on your last tour, or like 2 tours ago, you guys were there. You got stuck. You got one show, and then you had to go into the shelters.
Yeah,
it was
the Iran War started.
the first round of Iran War. What was that, just back in June?
Yeah, it was like a year. Yeah.
Yeah, not a year ago. That was what, like six months ago?
Something like that, yeah. It was 6 months. That was with Aaron McGuire, Ray Allen, and Brian Scott McFadden.
And how did they handle being in Israel during wartime?
As best they could. It was like everybody was kind of flipped out about it. It was, well, it is. I remember we did the one show in Beit Shemesh, and I was like, you're always as the guy who put it together. I want to make sure that this balances correctly.
Yeah.
My new stuff worked. I'm like, thank God. I get off stage. Ray did great. Aaron did great. Brian did great.
Okay, just when you talk about your new stuff and you're doing it on this, fancy tour, like, have you tried it out in other places before you do it?
So I will try to get to Israel.
And where? How do you get to try that out?
So Israel, Tel Aviv is a big, booming English scene.
Okay.
You have, for example, on Sunday nights, Shachar Hassan is like a big star there. It does an English show, and he gets like 200-300 people pretty much every Sunday. But I mean, he's a big star. Okay. Then you have Funny Mondays that Yochai Spondra, who's now touring in the States and stuff. He has a show, and aside from that, there are shows at like Bar. What's the bar? Like other people, there are other various places that have shows too. One place might be once every 2 weeks, one every 3 weeks.
So you try your stuff out in Israel.
Yeah, I was in this car accident a few years ago, and back then the doctors were like, listen, you can't go to Israel jet lag 24 hours and hop on stage exhausted. So because I had injuries, like you have to get there early enough and acclimate. So I got there early, and I realized, I might as well, if I can, get on the English shows here. And it was very helpful for me to run through the
Sure,
stuff.
I would think.
And I realized, this is kind of good. If I don't have work, I'm going to try to get here as early as I can. And that became kind of my thing the last couple of years, to get there early and run the new stuff.
So you'll do Funny Monday. You'll do Shahar's show.
Spots for me, and all that stuff. I'll call those guys early and go, hey, listen, I'm coming in. And they're usually pretty nice about it.
So every time you have a tour, every 6 months, you're doing new material.
Yeah, I have to.
Like what percentage would you say of it is new?
Almost all, except for maybe one or two.
Oh.
Well, I do this joke on stage. I said years ago, I did the tour. We used to do it once a year. Now we do it twice a year. So we had a review in the Jerusalem Post. Avi was very funny, but I think he did some stuff I heard like 2 years ago. I got so mad. I was like, what? Never again. I got so pissed. And the other comics on the tour, I remember Mark Schiff specifically, these guys can come.
Mark Schiff opens for Jerry Seinfeld on the road.
So
great comic.
The 3 other comics I have, they can come, do their strongest 20 minutes, look like geniuses, and leave, right? Whatever.
All right.
So the next show, I was so mad at this review. Mark looks at me, he's like, Avi, are you doing the same stuff you did last year? I just want to make sure, he's mocking me. But I owe the reviewer a thank you, because he pissed me off, where I go, I'm going to show this guy. And so the whole year, anytime a joke hit me that was like, that could work in Israel, separate sheet of paper, dating, the whole thing. And I showed up the next tour, and I'm all of it new, right? And I try to hit 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pacing backstage, and I go on. I remember in Renana, and it all works. And I'm all get off stage, and David Crow, who's not Jewish, comes on right after me. He's just never had a problem with material. The guy can just churn out,
Yeah.
He comes on right after me. He goes, you should have seen Avi freaking out, pacing backstage about all the new material. Then he comes up here and slams. He goes, worrying over nothing. How Jewish is that, right?
I like that. Yeah. That's great.
So then I get off stage. The show ends, and I'm all proud of myself. And this little old lady comes up to me afterwards. She's like, how come you didn't do the stuff about the holidays? I like that.
Oh my God. That is so Jewish.
In the face, but I was just like, what the, So you can't, when sometimes people will ask you, can you do this joke? Like, look, honestly, if I went to see, let's say, Jim Gaffigan, for example, and he didn't do Hot Pockets, I'd miss it,
yeah.
Because it's such a well-performed piece of material. I mean, he doesn't have to do it, obviously, but it's just so good. And it's like different. A lot of comics have talked about this, that if you go see a band, I think, who talked about this recently? I'm blanking. But like, if
you want to hear the same songs. Like if Billy Joel doesn't play Piano Man, you're like, I want my money back.
I think it's like Patton Oswalt brought this up in a podcast. He said, if you do a special, and let's say you do an hour special, and people will come to, and then people come and see you, and you do stuff from that special, they're never going to see you again.
Right.
But if you're a band, you have to have something else ready to go. But if you're a band and you come up with a great song and you do something, they don't want to hear it. Like, it's like,
no, it's so different.
When
comedy
Zeppelin was
it's not
touring,
fair.
when Zeppelin started, they said, this is a new song, Stairway to Heaven. Everyone's like, whatever. And they're getting up to leave. Like, I haven't heard this, so, but that's the thing. It's one of those, Peter Berman, a comedian I had on the tour, he would do a joke where he would go, brought this up.
Okay.
Like, he said, I went to see the Rolling Stones and, I can't get no. And Mick Jagger picks up the mic and just starts walking across,
Oh, yeah, sure.
They also scream.
They let the audience sing half the time.
And he goes, I can't do that. I can't, two Jews walk into a bar and he picks up the mic and just starts walking. So that's the old thing, but you have to balance it, obviously. Like, I'll work in maybe one or two jokes that Elon Gold has told
I was
me,
just going to say,
that's
Elon,
absurd, Avi. You can't do that. It's ridiculous.
No, but I opened for him. He did a big Hanukkah show out here on Long Island.
He and I work together all the time.
Oh, yeah, I know. You work, of course. But it was funny. He closed with his big Christmas tree.
Of course, people want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ask.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's reminding me when you're talking about the things people will say to you after the show, Jews. I think you could probably write a whole book on the things Jews say to you after. Because I was thinking after that show at the Paramount, where I was with Alon Gold, and I saw people in the community, and they were like, "Great show, but there was no parking. It was really hard to park." And then somebody else said, "Oh, we enjoyed the show. There's nothing to eat though in Huntington."
I do one of my
newer
jokes.
You should have a kosher food truck.
Yeah.
Tell Elon when he does it next year, bring a food truck.
That's a good
idea.
idea.
One of my newer jokes.
See?
Yeah.
Audience member right there.
Thinking about the food, like, if the show's
we
at
are.
9, we have to eat before.
But it's so funny. It's only like 2 seconds, or like you didn't do this joke.
Yeah. I have a new
it's so
joke
funny
that
when
I
you
talk
say
about. We had 2 of the hostages actually come and speak at the synagogue in Florida. And I said, when they finished, an elderly gentleman turns to me and goes, "Unbelievable what they went through. Isn't it crazy? Do you find these chairs uncomfortable? It's just they really like, would it kill them to turn down the air? They'll always find something. But it's ridiculous.
I feel like I wish I'd been cataloging that from the beginning. Also with me, like I'll make jokes about how I used to be a lawyer. And only when I perform for Jews will I get off stage and some of it, "Were you really a bankruptcy lawyer? I'm dissolving a partnership right now."
I know someone,
and like they want like the legal advice. It's like, it's so funny. It's just so Jewish.
That's how we are. I had a show in Florida and I'm there and the wait staff is getting their stuff out. It was like this big event and ideally you want to go on in between dinner and dessert. That's because they've eaten.
Yes.
Fine. So all of a sudden, and the head waiter's
that is
looking,
a very big thing.
Yeah, and they're behind with time, and the waiter comes up. She's like, "Is it okay if we do dessert now?" I go, "Please don't." Like,
right.
If just
they just
don't
assume you're
do
going to
that.
be like, "Sure."
Yeah, and they're like, because they wanted to keep things on time. I go, you're going to kill it for me. Like, I cannot compete with them eating dessert.
No,
like,
of course.
There's no chance.
And they're getting up. It's a buffet.
Yeah, and they were great. And then they brought dessert right afterwards, and I was like, thank God. But it was like, it went from like being, this will be a disaster to being, they were great. Just from that. Like they don't realize pacing and things like that.
No.
I told one Chabad rabbi, I was doing a show and they were chaotic and it was noise in this. And I go, you need to go up there and go, shh, 3 times, twice, and then wait and then do it again. I told him 4 times. I go, what's the most important thing tonight? He goes, the 3 I'll get. I go, no. You don't understand. Like it is the single most important thing that you're going to do. And he sort of realized I was dead serious. Like, I cannot compete with this noise.
Right.
And their kids running around. I go, once you do that, and they were very good after that. But it took that, waited, and that third and then they were kind of focused.
Yeah, listen, I once did an event in LA with Elon where he MCs it every year and then he'll bring a guest comic. I forgot what it was for. I think I saw you that week I was there. This was like, I don't remember what, it was a few years ago. So it was at some Four Seasons in LA.
I remember this. Yeah, it was just a charity group. I remember. Yeah,
and he's emceeing it, and it's like everybody was. I'm like, because to me, I'm like, Elon Gold is on stage, and they're just talking, and he would go shh, and then like continue with stuff, and then shh, and then
you have to focus. They have to focus.
Yeah, and then he's crushing whatever, but he hosts it every year and then brings again. But he really made sure to tame them before he brought me on.
Yeah, no, you have.
But it was, every private event. I mean, Oshri, we were just talking about, I did an event literally in a woman's living room.
Right.
When was, like it was this Israeli charity where they would, now they're not revealing the location until, you buy the ticket and they send it privately because of.
In the UK, that's how it is normally for security reasons.
You mean because of anti-Semitism?
I posted, doing this thing, and I see this, Muhammad Abu Jihad starts commenting, where's the show? Maybe I'll come. I'm like, yeah, sure, pal.
No, it's so true,
and
though.
The funny thing is I gave him the address of, I just looked up, a police station. Like,
oh my God, that's hilarious.
Amazing,
here's where
Avi.
it is. Like, you have to buy the ticket, and then we'll show you where it is. But obviously, they have to see who you are, because it's so bad there.
Oh, my God. Oh, sorry. I keep kicking your mic stand. Where would you say, okay, we're going to wrap it up. It's funny, I'm talking about doing a show in a woman's living room. Can you think off the top of your head, the strangest, I know you talk about stranger gigs, the title of your book.
Right.
What's one of the, some of the strangest places you've performed for at?
Countries, you mean, or just
No, actual gigs, weird places or venues.
I had a pizza shop once that they were like, it's in between. Just go to this pizza shop, and it was horrible. And I've had some weird ones. Let me think over the years.
Were
Christy,
the machines running?
Yeah, Christy Murphy used to do this show. Comics, there's a bit of masochism that we have, or that we're
Seriously.
We to ourselves. And she used to do this show at a laundromat, and it became a famous thing. And I'm like, I have to do this. Yeah.
Okay.
Steve Kravitz, wasn't it? He's a really funny guy. He would come on stage, and they were there was detergent and hanging on the wall, things that you can buy just to do your.
Okay.
And he walks on stage and goes, some of our artwork is available for purchase if you'd like to.
That's cute.
He was really funny, and it was
when comics acknowledge the room. That's also
you have
funny.
To. A situation like that, it was it was so unique and weird.
Okay.
Christy comes, she's like, I do the show in the laundromat, and I was like, I must do this, and she's like, it's not as bad as you think. I don't care if it's as bad as I think. I want to do it. So that's part of us that just to torture ourselves. But it was fun. You do it in front of the comics.
I love to ask if I have a Jewish comedian here. This is how my closing question is: what's your favorite Jewish holiday and why?
My favorite Jewish holiday, if I have jobs, Passover, but on the programs, which are nice.
I thought it would be a more spiritual answer, but
yeah, that's it. Just to get paid.
Really?
I like them all. It depends. Sukkot, because I'm usually in Israel for that, doing the show. So we started a Sukkot special.
And less yantifs.
Yeah, that's why I go to Israel. I would be there for all three. I'm actually going to Israel early for the next tour. We usually do May. I will look at Shavuot and go, I'm not doing 2 days of this. So, but this year it starts Thursday night. We get screwed. It's Friday and Saturday.
Oh, do you know what weekend is that? Oh gosh, I hope I didn't.
Early May. I think
it's thank God. Okay,
May,
it's not the last weekend in May. I booked something.
No, it's I think it's the second to last or something like that. I have to look.
23rd.
But it's so that's
Labor Day
a good
weekend.
one. Something like that.
23rd.
Memorial Day.
Yes, that's right. Memorial Day.
It's Memorial Day weekend?
No, I'm saying that the 23rd is Memorial Day.
No, I have gigs. The 30th is the May 27th to the 30th. It's not. I need to download the Jewish calendar on my Apple calendar.
On my phone.
Mine is not. I don't.
I have it on the Heave Cal. It's called on your Mac.
You have Heave Cal on the Apple?
Yeah.
I need to do that. I'm always sure, I'm available. Yeah. I'm always just is it a Friday night? Because I can't on Friday. Yeah, I know.
At the Boca Black Box, Randy called. I do Christmas Day the last couple of years, and he goes, Avi, I realized Christmas Day is
for
Friday.
Next year. That's right. He called me.
Do you want to do Christmas Eve instead? I go, that would be better because my audience is not going to come out on Friday.
Right. Actually, we did that show. That's Avi and I worked together. That's where I got this poster. Well, that was the week later, but it was the same theater. I did my own show, but first I worked with you. I opened for you on Christmas Day.
They're fun, right?
Eve. Fantastic.
Yeah, great
big crowds. You're in the big room.
It's the kosher Christmas show.
It's a kosher Christmas show in Boca. Avi headlines it. And that was such a great time.
Yeah, they were fun.
Because of you, I came to Florida and then I ended up
I'm
working
the draw
more.
For other comics in
Florida. I wasn't going to go. And then, but it's funny. So for next year, though, it's a different ballgame.
Yeah, you're going to be there? Christmas Eve. That should be bigger.
I'm coming. Yeah.
You're booked.
There you go. All right. So, Avi, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Now I'm going to give you a little tour around town before I drop you at the train station.
Yeah, great.
Guys, this has been the Tea Room. We'll see you next time.
All right, bye.
Bye, guys.